yeah! The man, the magic man is in the house, so guess what I came up with? I usually reserve Steven's A-list for the end of the show, but I wanted this near the beginning, Magic, because the Brooklyn Nets are home. They are done, just like the Knicks, but I won't rub it in too much because I was rooting for Brooklyn. Knicks first, New York always with me, but here's the bottom line. There's 5 reasons, Magic Johnson. This is dedicated to you. 5 reasons why the Brooklyn Nets are home right now. Let's go to number 5 on the list. Give it to me right now. Giannis showed up, averaged 32 and 13, wasn't scared of the moment. It's game 7 in Brooklyn on the road after he did his thing in game 6. What does he do against KD? With KD putting on an absolute show. Giannis dropped 40. Okay, he didn't disappear. He didn't shrink in the moment. We got to give the Greek Freak love where love is due. Let's go to number 4 on the list, please. Give it to me right now. Kyrie Irving's injury. We all know that if Kyrie Irving, that showstopper, Mr. Box Office, the nastiest handle in the game, one of the most skilled, Max Kellerman says arguably the most skilled players you ever see. If this dude doesn't twist his ankle, excuse me, the Milwaukee Bucks are not in the conference finals. It's the Brooklyn Nets that's here if Kyrie Irving had stayed healthy, but it didn't happen. Give me number 3 on the list, please. Joe Harris. Don't get me started with this brother right here. I mean, you're supposed to be a shooter. You are supposed to be a shooter, especially when you're open. That's the key. With Kevin Durant putting on a show. James Harden with the hamstring, still playing 46 minutes one game, 39 the other. Shows up for game 7. You got open shots, Joe Harris, and all of a sudden, you can't hit the damn river. It's right out here. You couldn't even shoot the ball into the river. That's a problem, Joe Harris. Look in the mirror this offseason. You had the jumper all year long until it counted. And then we couldn't find you as an APB out for you. Think about that. Let's go to number 2 on the list, please. Give it to me, Steve Nash. Excuse me, Steve Nash. Ever heard of a timeout to give Kevin Durant a break? Because you know how exhausted he is. He played 48 minutes for you in game 5. He showed up in game 6, was in the midst of playing all 53 minutes in game 7. Think you could have called the timeout to give him a breather, a break, so he wouldn't shoot an air ball on that last shot after being completely spent? I won't get into some of your other substitutions. I won't get into some of the other things that you didn't do. But that was a flagrant error on your part, Steve Nash. You made a slew of them, and coaching clearly was an issue. But it doesn't eclipse number 1. Give it to me right here. Karma.
Oh.
Why?
Wow.
Get out of here.
Oh.
Listen to this, Max. Stay with me. James Harden, love him, but wanted out of Houston. Came into camp out of shape. Came into the season out of shape. You think that didn't have something to do with the hamstring injury you ultimately incurred? Absolutely. I brought up coaching at number 2, right? Remember, Kyrie Irving is quoted as saying at the beginning of the season, we don't really need coaching. Guess what? Kyrie, you were thinking about you. What about the other players that we're going to need to produce? Better coaching might have had those other dudes ready to help Kevin Durant in a game 7. Then you, Kyrie Irving, you missed some games. You took a couple of weeks off. You took off whenever you wanted. That didn't send the right message to the team. Blake Griffin, you didn't show up in Detroit. You stole money from the Detroit Pistons. You didn't want to play basketball. You didn't even dunk in 2 years until you arrived at Brooklyn. Okay, this kind of stuff ultimately comes back to bite you. That's what happened to the Brooklyn Nets. That is why they're home right now. If they were together, if they were committed, if they put in that work constantly, day in and day out, not just as coaches, but as players, you would have been more together. Karma wouldn't have been against you, and you'd be in the Eastern Conference right now. These are my 5 reasons why the Brooklyn Nets are home watching the playoffs with the rest of us. My apologies to KD, because good God, he was sensational.
I got to give it to you. That's the list right there. I take that list all day long.
Karma's, you won me over with karma.
Yeah.
You said stay with me. I did. You won me over with karma. But let's keep it simple. Injuries is number 1. Period. Injuries decide this whole playoffs. LeBron's ankle and LeBron's wheel, whatever, and AD not playing every series. Just look what happened.
But I basically
every
included
series.
it in. I talked about
I get it.
The injuries is part of the karma. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but Kyrie is hurt and Harden's hurt. That wasn't James Harden. That was like a shell of James Harden.
But I told you why.
Okay, Nash is right on the money. Nash, right after injuries, is Nash. It was easy to be the coach of that team when you roll the ball out and say, take us there, KD. Yeah, but could you design some plays?
But
maybe
Max,
take Harden out of the game?
But Max, everything you just said is right. But they still had a chance to win game 7.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All the things you just said, they still had a chance to win if Joe Harris had just hit 2 or 3 shots.
Or KD
Five
doesn't airball the
right?
last shot.
Well, he's too tired.
bad. He's
too
exhausted.
Yeah,
He's exhausted.
You can't expect him. I mean, the man did everything that he could to put his team in a position to win. He hits almost. I wish it wasn't a 3. It was a 2 at the end.
I know, that was a killer.
Because the feet was too damn
That was a killer. But you know why I bring up the missed shot? You're right. KD played his heart out. It was amazing. But LeBron always gets held to the MJ standard.
Right.
Michael Jordan would have done that. Michael Jordan never takes, ever in a Game 7, the last shot with the game on the line, airballs shot. Just never happens. So I'm just saying KD has played himself to the point now where he has to get the same comparisons that LeBron got.
I'm going to break this down.
Please do.
We finally found out about the Brooklyn Nets. They got 3 superstars. The best entertainer in all of basketball, Kyrie Irving. James Harden played the best I've ever seen him play this whole season. And KD's on another level. The torch is almost being passed from LeBron to him as the best player on the planet. But it's going to be the role players. If he doesn't improve those players around those 3, they're not going to win it next year. Joe Harris can be a piece to bring in guys. You need guys. Just look at the Lakers. KCP, Rondo, Dwight Howard, Caruso. All those guys help the Lakers win. And you need those type of guys if you're going to win a championship. The 3 going to perform well, but you need the other guys.
Listen, and I'm going to go here with you. You're Magic. You're a champion. You know this game like the back of your hand. You also know the importance of coaching. Here's where I come to you as a star, basically the face of a franchise. It's not just that Steve Nash is the coach. It's that you picked him.
Yeah.
Sean Marks picks the coach you want. It don't matter what he came to you and suggested. If you said no, Steve Nash wouldn't be the coach.
Right.
And so I'm thinking, like, let's take a time, if we can point, because there's only one thing we could point the finger at KD about this season. One thing and one thing only. KD pretty much followed and adopted the mentality of Kyrie Irving. It's not that important. We got a crew. We gonna be all right no matter what. No, Steve Nash is gonna be. I think they're gonna win championship next year if they're healthy. But the point is this: not a scintilla of experience as a head coach on any level. And you know how tough it is to win championships. And you would have that kind of attitude. I think for a champion like Kyrie Irving and for a champion like KD, who know the game and know how important coaching is, to have that kind of mentality is inexcusable. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that, both of those guys have won a championship.
Right.
They know what it takes to win a championship. Sometimes you look and say, hey, we're good enough. We don't need a coach, but you do need a coach.
Yeah.
Timeouts or adjustments.
Yeah.
See, the playoffs, Molly, show you who can really coach. That's when you earn your money. It's not during the regular season. It's the playoff. Who can make adjustments? Nate McMillan made adjustments.
Yeah.
You can go to the Phoenix Suns coach.
Yeah, Monty Williams.
Monty Williams made great adjustments.
I can blow you away with this. Brooklyn had a chance to have Ty Lue if they wanted him.
Ty Lue makes adjustments in every round.
Ty Lue.
Ty Lue might mess around and be the best coach in the NBA.
That's right.
Yeah, he might be the best coach in the NBA.
If Ty Lue is coaching the Brooklyn Nets, what are we saying right now?
Let me say one thing, Stephen A., to you about this Nash point. You won me over. You were on this Nash thing since the beginning, because Magic, I actually disagree about one thing. I think if the big 3 are healthy, they will lay waste to this league. The role players can mess up, but if the big 3 are healthy, because what you saw, you never really got to see it.
It doesn't happen like that, Max. It doesn't happen like that.
But okay, I'll say this.
You can't just say that because I got 3 of the best players in the league, we're going to automatically win. That doesn't work like that. And they don't have defensive-minded cats. Listen, those 3 can score against anybody. Now you bring in 1 or 2 defensive-minded guys. P.J. Tucker, what did he do for the Milwaukee Bucks? He brought a mentality that was different. He's not soft. All the other dudes before him were soft. So he said, we're not going to play soft no more. So, yes, KD scored 40-something points on him, but he made him earn every one of them. And that's what you need. Brooklyn needs mentality, a tough mentality. They got the scores, but they still got to get some defensive-minded guys.
Magic, I'm not arguing with Magic Johnson. I'll just say, if you and Michael and Larry played on the same team, Molly and me could be the other two people, you guys would have won all the time. Like, they have sick talent in that big three. But where I agree with Stephen A., where I think this comes into play about Nash, is what if someone gets hurt? What if now you can't just roll the ball out there going, coach?
Bounced.
He was right about Steve Nash. He's right about mentality. He won me over with the karma thing.
Right about Ben
karma.
Simmons.
The number one reason Stephen A. says the Nets are not still in these playoffs is karma. I like that. Who needs their star player back more? The Clippers with Kawhi Leonard or the Suns with their floor general Chris Paul? Do not miss that debate next. Plus, Magic just alluded to it. We got to get his opinion on this as Kevin